He said, when I started coaching, I had a clear idea and I didn't adapt to the players I had. I had experience at Parma where Roberto Baggio wanted to play as a playmaker and I didn't change the system. He went to another team and I was wrong. At Juventus with Zidane, I started to understand that it's better to adapt to the players. Players have to feel comfortable. I adapted and I'm still adapting. This year we might play a different system. The system we have played with has been very successful, but we can try a new style. We're going to try it on the tour. It's a good time to do so. Let's welcome in our Madrid correspondent, Alex Kirkland, to talk more about this and what we could be seeing from Real Madrid next season, and a possible 11 as well when it comes to how they could be shaping up. Welcome in, Alex. How's this been received in Madrid? Carlo Ancelotti speaking about a change in system, a potential change in system for the club.
I love the way that Ancelotti is so open and happy to talk about things like systems and tactics in a way that a lot of coaches really don't like to. A lot of coaches are more kind of secretive about this kind of thing. But Carlo's just like, yeah, we'll try it out. You know, we'll switch things up on the tour. Let's see how it goes. I think it's just a reflection of the squads, looking at the players that he's got, looking in particular at the players who've come in and the players who've left so far this summer, and trying to work out what kind of system, what kind of formation suits them. We know that Karim Benzema left. They brought in Joselu, but he's probably more of an off-the-bench kind of impact player rather than a starter. And so that leaves you really with a front two of Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo Goes. And so it makes sense, I think, to play with a front two rather than a front three. And that gives you an extra body in midfield, which is Jude Bellingham, the big money arrival of the summer so far for Real Madrid. I think this is the kind of starting 11 that we might see from them, with a midfield diamond and a front two. Of course, there are one or two players you could switch in or out of this one. You could easily go for Tchouaméni at the base of the midfield instead of Kroos if you wanted to. You could go for Luka Modric instead of Camavinga, or instead of Fede Valverde on either side of the midfield. But something like this, I think, is the team that we're going to see. Certainly, Ancelotti has said he's going to try it out now in these pre-season games on the US tour, against the likes of Milan, against Barcelona, against United, and see how it works. It would be a significant change, I think, because you think back about the Real Madrid teams, not just Ancelotti's Real Madrid teams, and of course there have been two Ancelotti eras at Madrid in the last decade, but under Zinedine Zidane as well, they've pretty much always gone with a 4-3-3 Real Madrid. That's been the system right the way through the last decade, with some minor variations. Part of that has been to accommodate that famous front three, the BBC of Benzema, Bale and Cristiano. Of course, you had that just as famous midfield three of Casemiro, Kroos and Modric, but this team is changing, it's evolving. You've got players coming in, you've got players leaving. So I think, yeah, like I say, I think it just makes sense for Ancelotti to try something different based on the resources that he's got.
How does that look to you, that lineup?
It looks like it's missing a striker, is what it looks like. I understand the reasoning, and I understand the case to be made for overloading the midfield because you have strength in that area of the field. But the other way to look at it is you have a strength there, you have weaknesses somewhere else. And the weakness is glaring, a striker. Real Madrid with Joselu as a front striker doesn't really have the ring that you would want to have. And Alex is correct. Joselu will come off the bench and he'll be a credible threat off the bench. A guy that can be a spot starter here and there. But this is more of a reflection of a team that is missing a striker, that is missing Mbappe, that is missing Kane, that is missing a big name that can take the position of Karim Benzema. If this is how Real Madrid plays, I don't see them having a whole lot of success. Vini Jr. is not a guy that likes to play on the inside. He will park himself on the left-hand side, every so often floating to the inside. But when he starts in a central position, he takes his own space away, and now he's not running at defenders with the freedom that he once did down the left-hand side. Rodrigo, not nearly as one-sided as Vinicius is. He likes to float in and out of spaces, but he also likes to find moments in which he can run at defenders in 1v1 situations. He's not finding that playing it out of a 4-4-2. They're going to have to play with their back to goal at some point. Neither one of them want to do that. With the personnel that they have available right now, I suppose that this makes sense. But in the end, I don't think this is where Real Madrid nor Carlo Ancelotti want to be.
Are they really not going to sign a big-name striker before the summer transfer window closes, Alex?
Well, the name is Mbappe, as you just heard. And let's see what happens over the next week. This could be another pivotal week in that saga, because Mbappe has due to join PSG back in pre-season training, and PSG have got their own pre-season tour to head off on as well over the next couple of weeks. And so we think there might be some movement this week. There is still a quiet optimism from Real Madrid about Mbappe, but still they are standing to one side and they are waiting for PSG and Mbappe to come to a decision on how this goes down this summer, waiting for that moment to then step in. And of course, if Mbappe comes in, the 11 that we've just outlined there would have to change, because we have to find a place for him. Now, maybe he could come into that 11 for Rodrigo, or maybe he'd be back in with a front three again. I think without an Mbappe or a player like that, I agree. The big question is, are there enough goals in that starting 11? We've seen that Vinicius Jr. can score, you can expect him to score 15 league goals, something like that in a season. Rodrigo's maybe getting to the position where he could be looking to get to 10, 15 league goals if he's starting every week. But even so, you're then relying on the midfielders to contribute significant numbers. I know that Jude Bellingham is a goal scorer. He's shown that at Dortmund, but can you expect him to get into double figures or something like that in his debut season in La Liga? That might be a big ask. So yeah, the question, without Mbappe, for now at least, for me would be, are there enough goals in that team?
Can I say two things?
Go on.
The first thing is, Ancelotti has probably shown us a bit of experience here with that statement he made.
In what way?
Well, he's turning it into, well, we've got to pick a team and change the system with what we have, right? When probably the truth of the matter is, he's changing the system because of what he doesn't have.
Correct.
He's being very clever here and trying to switch away from not having a number 9. And the second thing is, this absolutely smells of Bayern Munich Mark II.
Last season.
Everybody, yeah. Well, they've got goals in the middle of the park. They've got goals from here. They've got goals here. He's got goals and he can score goals. They cannot score goals. That's what we got from Bayern last year, right? They never got a centre forward. They decided to go with Choupo-Moting, and the whole thing was a disaster. It smells of Bayern Munich. That's what it smells of.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.